Have you ever noticed that certain women seem to possess an inexplicable wisdom that goes far beyond their years? They carry themselves with a grace that feels timeless, speak with insights that penetrate straight to the heart of matters, and somehow navigate life's complexities with an intuitive understanding that appears almost supernatural. According to renowned psychiatrist and past life regression pioneer Dr. Brian Weiss, these women aren't just naturally wise, they're carrying the accumulated knowledge of multiple lifetimes within their souls. Tonight, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of ancient souls, specifically focusing on the unique characteristics that women with old souls display without even realizing they're doing it. These aren't random personality traits or learned behaviors. They're the manifestation of spiritual experiences that span centuries, even millennia. If you've ever felt different, if you've ever sensed that you don't quite belong in this modern world, or if people have told you that you seem older than your age, this message might reveal something profound about your own spiritual journey. Brian Weiss, through his groundbreaking work with thousands of patients, has documented remarkable patterns among women who carry ancient wisdom within their souls. These patterns aren't coincidental. They're the result of lifetimes of learning, growing, and evolving through countless experiences across different eras and cultures. What's truly remarkable is that these women often don't consciously realize they're displaying these characteristics. It's as natural to them as breathing. If you feel a deep resonance with what we're about to explore, subscribe to this channel and activate notifications. Leave a comment saying, "I'm ready to evolve spiritually," because tonight's journey might just awaken something profound within you that's been waiting lifetimes to be recognized. The concept of ancient souls isn't new to human understanding, but Brian Weiss brought scientific credibility to what many cultures have known for millennia. Through his extensive research in past life regression therapy, Weiss discovered that souls don't simply live one life and disappear. They continue their journey, carrying forward the wisdom, experiences, and spiritual growth from each incarnation. Women with ancient souls have lived through numerous lifetimes, often in positions where they've had to develop deep emotional intelligence, spiritual awareness, and an understanding of human nature that transcends ordinary experience. These souls have been healers in ancient Egypt, wise women in medieval villages, spiritual teachers in various cultures, and guardians of sacred knowledge throughout history. They've experienced love and loss, triumph and tragedy, spiritual awakening, and material challenges across different time periods and geographical locations. Each lifetime has added layers to their spiritual understanding, creating a depth of wisdom that manifests in their current incarnation in ways they might not even consciously recognize. What makes this particularly fascinating is that ancient souls don't typically remember their past lives in detail, but the essence of their accumulated experiences influences everything about who they are today. Their preferences, their natural abilities, their instinctive responses to situations, and their deep understanding of human emotions all carry the imprint of their soul's long journey through time. Brian Weiss observed that ancient souls, particularly women, often struggle in modern society because they operate from a different frequency than most people around them. They're naturally oriented toward deeper meaning, spiritual connection, and authentic relationships in a world that often prioritizes surface-level interactions and material achievements. This creates an internal tension that many ancient soul women experience but can't quite explain. One of the most significant challenges that women with ancient souls face is feeling profoundly alone, even when surrounded by people. This isn't ordinary loneliness. It's a soul-deep recognition that most people around them are operating from a completely different level of consciousness. They find themselves yearning for conversations that go beyond small talk, relationships that transcend superficial connection, and experiences that feed their soul rather than just their ego. This sense of not belonging isn't a character flaw or a sign that something is wrong with them. Instead, it's evidence of their soul's maturity and their natural inclination toward deeper spiritual truths. Ancient souls have experienced so much across their many lifetimes that ordinary pleasures and typical social interactions often feel empty or unfulfilling. They're searching for meaning, purpose, and authentic connection because their souls remember what it feels like to live with that level of depth and significance. Another major challenge is that ancient soul women often feel overwhelmed by the intensity of their own emotions and their sensitivity to the emotions of others. They pick up on energy, mood shifts, and unspoken feelings with an accuracy that can be both a gift and a burden. This heightened sensitivity isn't learned. It's developed through lifetimes of experience in roles where emotional intelligence and intuitive understanding were essential for survival and service to others. Share in the comments an experience where you felt the presence of spiritual mentors or a profound inner transformation, because recognizing these moments is often the first step in awakening to your soul's true nature. Many ancient soul women also struggle with what feels like conflicting desires within themselves. Part of them yearns for solitude and quiet contemplation, while another part feels called to serve and help others. They might feel simultaneously drawn to ancient wisdom and modern innovation, to spiritual practices and practical achievements, to deep introspection and active engagement with the world. These aren't contradictions, they're reflections of the diverse experiences their souls have accumulated across multiple lifetimes. The beautiful truth about ancient souls is that their spiritual journey doesn't follow a linear progression from lifetime to lifetime. Instead, it's a spiral dance of growth, where they experience different aspects of human existence in each incarnation. One lifetime might focus on developing compassion through service to others, while another might emphasize personal spiritual awakening through solitude and contemplation. Some lifetimes might involve learning through relationships and family connections, while others might center on acquiring knowledge and wisdom through study and teaching. This explains why women with ancient souls often feel like they contain multitudes within themselves. They do. Their souls carry the essence of the wise teacher, the compassionate healer, the devoted mother, the mystic seeker, the creative artist, and countless other archetypal experiences. Each of these aspects emerges at different times in their current life, sometimes creating confusion about their true identity and purpose. Brian Weiss frequently emphasizes that understanding our soul's journey through multiple lifetimes can provide tremendous relief and clarity for people who have always felt different or struggled to understand their place in the world. For ancient soul women, this knowledge validates their deep sense that they're here for something more significant than ordinary existence suggests. The process of spiritual awakening for ancient souls often involves remembering rather than learning. They don't need to acquire new spiritual knowledge as much as they need to remember what their souls already know. This is why certain spiritual practices, philosophical concepts, or healing modalities might feel immediately familiar to them, even when they're encountering them for the first time in their current life. If this message is touching your soul, leave a like so that more consciousness can awaken to this light, because sharing these insights helps other ancient souls recognize their own spiritual heritage. One of the most remarkable characteristics that women with ancient souls display without realizing it is their natural ability to see beyond surface appearances and understand the deeper truth of situations and people. This isn't learned wisdom, it's soul-level discernment developed through countless experiences with human nature across multiple lifetimes. They instinctively recognize when someone is hiding their true self, when a situation isn't what it appears to be, or when there are hidden dynamics at play that others completely miss. This ability often manifests as what others might call good intuition or women's instinct, but it goes far deeper than that. Ancient soul women can sense the motivations behind people's actions, the fears driving their behaviors, and the potential outcomes of situations before they fully unfold. They might not always be able to explain how they know something, but their accuracy rate is remarkably high because they're drawing from a vast database of human experience stored within their soul's memory. Another unconscious behavior of ancient soul women is their natural inclination to create sacred space wherever they go. They might not think of it in spiritual terms, but they instinctively arrange their environment in ways that promote peace, healing, and deeper connection. Their homes often become sanctuaries where friends and family feel unusually comfortable opening up about their deepest concerns and fears. They create environments that encourage authentic conversation and genuine emotional expression. This ability to hold sacred space extends to their relationships as well. People naturally confide in ancient soul women because they emanate a quality of non-judgmental acceptance and deep understanding. Strangers might find themselves sharing personal stories with them in unexpected moments, on airplanes, in waiting rooms, or during brief encounters in daily life. This happens because ancient souls carry an energy signature that communicates safety and wisdom to others who are struggling or searching for guidance. Ancient soul women also display an unconscious mastery of energy management and healing. They might not formally study energy work or healing modalities, but they instinctively know how to calm anxious energy, how to shift the mood in a room, and how to provide emotional comfort that goes beyond mere sympathy. Their presence alone often has a stabilizing effect on others, particularly during times of crisis or emotional turbulence. This healing ability often extends to their relationship with nature and animals. Ancient souls typically feel a profound connection to the natural world that goes beyond environmental appreciation. They might find themselves naturally drawn to gardening, spending time near water, or feeling renewed by time in forests or mountains. Animals often respond to them with unusual trust and affection, recognizing something familiar in their energy that communicates safety and understanding. Write in the comments. Today I free myself from old patterns and embrace the light of spiritual renewal, because declaring this intention helps align your current life with your soul's deeper purpose. Perhaps one of the most significant unconscious behaviors of ancient soul women is their natural orientation towards service and healing, even when they're not in traditionally helping professions. They find themselves naturally taking on the role of counselor, mediator, or emotional support person in their families, friend groups, and work environments. This isn't learned behavior, it's the expression of lifetimes spent in service to others' growth and healing. However, this service orientation can become problematic if ancient soul women don't recognize the need to balance giving with receiving. Because they're naturally oriented toward helping others, they might neglect their own needs or feel guilty about prioritizing their personal well-being. This pattern often stems from lifetimes where service to others was considered the highest spiritual achievement, but in their current incarnation, learning to value themselves and set healthy boundaries might be equally important for their soul's growth. Ancient soul women also unconsciously carry themselves with a dignity and grace that reflects their soul's maturity. They might not realize it, but others often perceive them as naturally elegant or regal, regardless of their social background or economic circumstances. This isn't physical beauty in the conventional sense. It's the manifestation of inner wisdom and spiritual development that shines through their presence and demeanor. This quality often extends to their communication style as well. Ancient soul women tend to speak with a thoughtfulness and depth that reflects their soul's accumulated wisdom. They naturally avoid superficial conversation and gravitate toward topics that explore meaning, purpose, and deeper truths about human experience. They might feel frustrated by small talk or find themselves struggling to engage in conversations that don't touch on something meaningful or significant. The unconscious wisdom of ancient souls also manifests in their approach to life's challenges and difficulties. While they certainly experience pain, loss, and disappointment like everyone else, they often display a remarkable ability to find meaning and learning opportunities within difficult experiences. This isn't forced positivity, it's a soul-level understanding that challenges are opportunities for growth, and that every experience, pleasant or difficult, contributes to their spiritual evolution. This perspective allows ancient soul women to maintain hope and faith even during their darkest moments. They seem to possess an unshakable knowing that everything will ultimately work out, not necessarily in the way they prefer, but in the way that serves their highest good and spiritual development. This faith isn't naive optimism. It's based on their soul's accumulated experience with the larger patterns and purposes that govern human existence. Thank the higher plan by leaving your like as a sign of connection and gratitude for this message received, because acknowledging these spiritual insights helps strengthen your connection to your soul's wisdom. Another remarkable quality that ancient soul women display unconsciously is their natural ability to bridge different worlds and perspectives. They often find themselves serving as translators between people who can't understand each other, mediating conflicts, or helping others see situations from multiple angles. This ability stems from their soul's experience living in different cultures, time periods, and social circumstances across multiple lifetimes. This bridging ability extends to their relationship with both spiritual and material reality. Ancient soul women typically feel equally comfortable discussing mystical experiences and practical matters, ancient wisdom and modern innovation, emotional depth and logical analysis. They don't see these as opposing forces. They understand intuitively that all aspects of human experience are interconnected and equally valuable parts of the whole. Their unconscious wisdom also manifests in their relationship with time and timing. Ancient soul women often display an uncanny ability to know when to act and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain silent, when to push forward and when to surrender to the natural flow of events. This isn't learned timing, it's soul-level understanding of the rhythms and cycles that govern both human affairs and cosmic forces. This sensitivity to timing often extends to their ability to appear in people's lives exactly when they're most needed. They might not plan these encounters consciously, but they frequently find themselves in the right place at the right time to offer comfort, guidance, or support to someone who is struggling or facing a significant life transition. These meetings often feel predestined or divinely orchestrated, which they probably are from a soul perspective. Ancient soul women also unconsciously demonstrate a deep respect for the mystery and complexity of human existence. They rarely judge others harshly because their souls remember the challenges and struggles of learning through human experience. They understand intuitively that everyone is doing the best they can with their current level of consciousness, and that harsh judgment only creates more suffering for everyone involved. This compassionate understanding extends to their relationship with their own mistakes and shortcomings as well. While they hold themselves to high standards and feel genuine remorse when they fall short of their ideals, they typically don't engage in the kind of harsh self-criticism that destroys self-worth and prevents growth. They understand that making mistakes is part of the learning process and that perfectionism actually inhibits spiritual development. The unconscious wisdom of ancient souls also appears in their natural understanding of the interconnectedness of all life. They might not articulate it in spiritual terms, but they instinctively know that their actions affect others, and that the well-being of the whole is intimately connected to the well-being of each individual part. This understanding influences their choices in ways both large and small, from how they treat service workers to how they make major life decisions. Comment: I align myself with purposes of good and continue firm in my journey of elevation, because declaring this intention helps you consciously connect with the wisdom your soul already carries. Perhaps most significantly, ancient soul women unconsciously carry within themselves a deep knowing that this lifetime represents an opportunity for significant spiritual advancement and service. They might not be able to explain why they feel such urgency about fulfilling their purpose, or why they're so dissatisfied with anything less than meaningful existence, but their souls remember that they chose this particular incarnation for specific reasons related to their spiritual growth, and their ability to serve others awakening. This sense of purpose often creates both inspiration and frustration in ancient soul women. They feel called to something greater than ordinary existence, but they might struggle to identify exactly what that calling involves or how to fulfill it within the constraints of modern life. This tension isn't meant to be resolved quickly. It's meant to motivate them to keep searching, growing, and expanding their understanding of who they are and why they're here. The beautiful truth that Brian Weiss discovered through his work is that ancient souls don't need to remember their past lives in detail to benefit from their accumulated wisdom. The essence of their spiritual development is already integrated into who they are in this lifetime. Their task isn't to become someone different, it's to fully embody and express the wisdom they already carry within their souls. This realization can be profoundly liberating for women who have always felt different or struggled to understand their place in the world. They're not broken or maladjusted, they're simply operating from a different level of consciousness than most people around them. Their sensitivity, their depth, their yearning for meaning, and their natural wisdom aren't burdens to be overcome. They're gifts to be celebrated and shared with a world that desperately needs what they have to offer. The journey of awakening for ancient souls often involves learning to trust their inner knowing even when it conflicts with external expectations or conventional wisdom. They need to learn to honor their sensitivity as a superpower rather than a weakness, to embrace their depth as a gift rather than a burden, and to trust their spiritual instincts even when they can't explain them logically. Understanding their nature as ancient souls also helps these women make sense of their relationships and life experiences. They might finally understand why they've always felt older than their chronological age, why they're drawn to certain time periods or cultures, why they have instant connections with some people and feel completely disconnected from others, and why they seem to know things they've never formally learned. This understanding can also provide guidance for their life choices and direction. Ancient souls are typically here to serve in some capacity, but that service might take many different forms. Some are called to traditional healing or teaching roles, while others serve through their presence, their creative expression, their parenting, or their ability to model authentic living in a world that often prioritizes appearance over substance. Leave your like as gratitude to the higher plan, as a sign of connection and appreciation for this message received, because acknowledging these spiritual truths helps activate the dormant wisdom within your soul. The key insight that Brian Weiss offers is that ancient souls don't need to prove their wisdom or spiritual development to anyone else. Their value doesn't depend on external recognition or validation. They're here to express their authentic selves, share their gifts in whatever way feels natural and meaningful to them, and continue their own spiritual growth through the experiences this lifetime provides. For women who recognize themselves in these descriptions, the invitation is to embrace their nature rather than trying to change it to fit in better with a world that might not understand their depth. They're not meant to dim their light or minimize their wisdom to make others comfortable. Instead, they're called to shine brightly while maintaining compassion for those who are at different stages of their spiritual journey. The unconscious behaviors and characteristics we've explored tonight aren't random personality traits. They're the natural expression of souls who have accumulated wisdom through multiple lifetimes of growth and service. These women carry within themselves the potential to be powerful agents of healing and transformation in a world that desperately needs their particular gifts and perspective. The beautiful paradox is that by fully embracing their nature as ancient souls, these women actually become more effective at navigating modern life rather than less. When they stop trying to fit into molds that were never meant for them and start honoring their authentic spiritual nature, they often find that life becomes more fulfilling, relationships become more meaningful, and their sense of purpose becomes clearer. Their sensitivity becomes a superpower that allows them to offer exactly the kind of comfort and understanding that others need. Their depth becomes magnetic to people who are ready for more meaningful connections and conversations. Their wisdom becomes a beacon for others who are searching for guidance and clarity in their own spiritual journeys. The journey of awakening